do this. I've been doing this for a long time. I wanted y'all to talk about how hard it is to create a superstar in the digital, in the data era. Because, you know, a lot of the times with us, what we doing, you know, sorry, my little daughter's in the room. She don't give a fuck what I'm doing. Miyoki, give me 1 second, okay? Shh, okay? But yeah, in today's market, you know, data is kind of dictating like where we spend our money and our attention on. But how do we haven't had a superstar from the data era yet. We've had hit records from the data era, but we haven't had a true superstar. So talk about our challenges and y'all challenges of just trying to build a superstar. And I work with, you know, L.A. Reid, Jaha, I see you on here, Jaha. You know, L.A. always talks about superstars. That's all he cared about. Like, we got to create superstars. And I just feel like, you know, we get a lot of hit records from the data world, but how do we find and create superstars as A&R? Like, what are y'all challenges? What up, Norva? What are y'all challenges? Because I know what our challenges is in our building. I just wanted y'all to talk about that.
I mean, I feel like if you look at like a Billie Eilish, I feel like she's coming from that world and she's definitely considered a rising superstar at the moment.
Nah, but Billie Eilish was found with no data though.
Yeah, no data. But you said in the time, you didn't say, I didn't know you said that. You said
I'm speaking of from the finding talent through data story.
Finding talent through data, gotcha.
Like Billie Eilish when I worked at Interscope when Justin signed her, and she had nothing going on. They just loved her voice, and she had this song called Ocean Eyes, and they was going crazy for it.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then Khalid and Bryson were from SoundCloud, and Khalid is one of the biggest right now. It's just continuing to develop a story outside of just a song. Like if you give them perspective and point of view and develop the story along with the good music, that's how you start to build a superstar. But superstars aren't built in just a year or two. It's over a longer period of time and shit. So it's hard to call some of it because we've only been in the digital era for real 3 4 years solid.
Yeah, I'm curious, Ray. What I mean, you feel like we haven't built superstars over the past 3-4 years in this digital era?
I think Khalid is actually the best one, the best example. But Khalid is someone who he's kind of like the first superstar in my eyes that lives in a different universe than everybody else because he's a black kid and his audience is mostly other. So Khalid was actually an artist that I had in front of me, and I was like, I don't understand it. I come from the world where if you're an R&B artist, either the girls want to fuck with you or the guys want to be like you. It's one or the other. And he was kind of totally opposite of those things, and he became a superstar. So I think he's the best example. But you know, and he was also the one. And you said two things, Adonis, that y'all did was both R&B, Khalid and Bryson. But in this world we live in, I know all of y'all go through it where we popping up with a different. It's like every day is 10 different rappers popping up that everybody's chasing. Like Dallas, I remember when you signed Roddy. A year and a half ago, you was playing the music and trying to figure it out. But he's a superstar now. But that wasn't like a data thing as much as it was like, I fuck with this. Yeah, so our challenges at A&R is always like, how do we sift through that part?
I mean, honestly, like, I feel like I'm still kind of like old school when it comes to A&R shit. Cause like, I really just fuck with shit I like. You know what I'm saying? If I believe in it and I think that it's going to touch the people, I'm gonna just invest my time and my energy into it. I never really once the data shit comes to play and the numbers is out, you already in the bidding war, so you're already late when you get early numbers. So
right.
I'd rather just pick an artist I like and just work on them.
Because the crazy part is that when they're in the bidding war, this is what happens. It's a bidding war, so now we all bidding against each other. So we didn't even have a chance to really tell the artist what we think they could be better. It's like, I got to tell them everything they want to hear because I want them to sign with me. But then when I sign them and I finally got to A&R them, it's like, they looking at you like, nigga, you chased me down for what I was doing. Yeah. So it's almost like, it's just a new world that we live in.
You got to be honest, though, man. You got to tell them. If they can't respect the honesty, and that means you ain't going to be able to have a real relationship with them when you're making records. I don't want to lie to you. I want to tell you what it is. And if we get along, we get along.
Yeah, I think like they want that's why they mess with us, right? They mess with you for your honesty, right? Not because you spoke everything they wanted to hear, right? And you're right, it is a challenge, you know, Dallas and Roddy is a great example, right? Like he's developing a superstar despite the numbers, right? The numbers are here now, but to your point, we all know Dallas signed it with no numbers, right?
Exactly.
And I think we all probably have something in the wings that we're developing that people don't all the way get. I mean, I went over to Dallas and he blew my mind with some other shit that he got, right? Like I got some shit I got, like you got some shit. So I think, yeah, if you get in there super, super early and grab it with really low numbers, but yeah, by the time it's, you know, it's dancing around town, it's doing the big pageant, you know, you may not even want it at that point. You know, we all got to play the game because that's part of our job, but it makes it less exciting to be doing the beauty pageant and trying to outbid this person. Like that shit ain't fly.
Yeah, and I think we're caught in a weird space, right? Because I mean, we all go through it. You bring in an artist sometime, and you're using the numbers to kind of hope that under these numbers or these indicators that you peel back the layers and the person walk in and they're a potential superstar in your gut, right? I think a superstar walks in the room. I think that we just aid them in becoming that star, but I think they walk in the room a star. Maybe I'm just different. I just feel like they walk in a star, right? Rough, but a star. We use these numbers to look at it. We all got to look at these numbers because we all work for a company. They're going to be like, are you looking at the numbers? Do you see what's bubbling? And that's how we all kind of get caught on the computer screen trying to chase the next Rowdy Rich or the next whoever, right? I don't really A&R that way myself, but I have to be aware what's going on in case a gem is in that pile, if that makes sense.
I also feel like maybe the new superstars look different from how they looked a couple years ago. You know, I feel like Little Uzi is a superstar. I feel like Little Baby is a superstar. Right. You know, it's just different looks now.
Right.
We a different generation. We heard and seen things differently than how these kids hear and see it. So it's sort of like just staying with the times too.
Right. But we knew Uzi was a star when he came in the room, though.
Yeah, but Uzi wasn't numbers either. Uzi wasn't numbers and Baby wasn't numbers. They was. So that's what I'm speaking of, like how a kid puts out a record today, everybody loves it, and now next week we offer him $3 million, and it's like, now I got to figure out a way to make this motherfucker into the next Uzi. That's the hard part.
Right, it is. Right.
Now, you know what happens? We just try to figure out how we can make our money back on those.
If I'm being real with you, I think y'all did a good job, Chelsea, with Lil Nas X, because Ron immediately put him with Billy Ray Cyrus, created the story. He just became like a star. Whether he was a good example of a superstar in the digital era, but Old Town Road was such an outside of a record. It was like, how the fuck do you quantify something like that being that big?
I'm gonna give Chelsea the last word, and then we're gonna.
I'm about to get out of here. I just want y'all to know I'm enjoying this conversation, man. I appreciate this.
Thanks.
I'm watching.
All right, appreciate you, Ray.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely gonna ask Ray that, just because if we're talking digital and we're talking artists that come from that space, you know. It was all hands on deck. It was everybody. All the heads were, you know, on Nas X, and Ron really championed him, and everybody, you know, the whole narrative of him, you know, the whole Billboard and the country music and everything like that. We really sat together. I mean, not the whole team basically sat together, and really figured out, you know, how to make him into a superstar, to getting him, you know, stage presence, media coaching, how to dance, you know what I mean? You see him doing these huge, big, you know, his wardrobe. How are we gonna make this, you know, go? But it's also, okay, cool. We did that, now what's next? You know, I think that's always the thing.
At what point do we call him a superstar though? Like, cause at the end of the day, is it like one song gets you a superstar and presence at that moment, or is it longevity and being able to stay in for a longer amount of time? Because I feel like, I'm not talking about him particularly, but you could get a hit.
It's over time.
Go to presence, and then after that, what's the follow up? What happens after that? Are you gonna call him a superstar in another year?
Right. That's all about.
It's over time. It's over time.
Yeah, it definitely is the follow-up. It's everything all in that.
Yeah,
It's the record, it's their stage presence, it's the story. Like,
It's
you know,
everything.
shout out to Dallas, because when he first signed Rowdy and had me come to the studio to see everything, like, it's the records, it's when this kid performs, it's the whole package. That's when you can say he could be the next superstar of that generation.
I agree.